errors, and the next workshop that we want to do is from the errors as well as from your regular expression. So basically building a very simple form and applying client-side validation. Don't go for HTML5, though you can do it really quick with HTML5, but I would suggest to do it with regular expression and then raising errors. So let me show you one demo on this. This is another example where it says please input a number between 5 and 10, and this is actually calling out function. You could also use this on submit, right? This is just a simple button. You could even use the submit operation where these validations will be fired. What it says, it has two variable, message and x. Message it is taking from p01, which is this, and then message.inner.html. what it says, then it is taking the value of it is assigning a blank value for now, and then it is taking the value from demo, which is this one, and if x is equal to blank, this is not null, this is blank, throw it's empty. If it is nan, it shows not a number. If it is, and then it is taking, like, these are checking two different messages, and then if these are passing these two validations, it is saying let's take the number. If the number is less than 5, it will be too low. If the number is greater than 10, it will be too high, and then it is taking that exception. So if you like practice any programming language, so each programming language, irrespective it is low code platform, it is the proper framework like JavaScript, Java, Python, they all have the try and catch or some way of utilizing this exception handling. Same is with the JavaScript. So let's save it. Let's look at how it looks on the UI. So comparing, this is your input type and this is your paragraph. This is your input type, and with input type there is a button. This is still not available, but let's type something. We could provide with the empty. So when this is empty, it is showing input is empty. If we type any name, input is not a number. If we type value 0, this is input is too low. If we type anything greater than it, it shows 11, but if we do 8, it will not print anything. So that is very simple example, and it is to like compare it traditionally. Now let's talk about it, how we can validate with some HTML related validation. So we could actually provide, and this is, I believe, HTML5 component, and let me just give this, let me put it after a break line, maybe one more break line. So here, since I have provided with minimum and maximum, so if I say 1, but I don't have a submit button, right? Let me create a submit button too. Did I miss anything? Okay. So this is HTML5 component. What I have done, I've created a submit button within a form so that the validation should be fired, right? If I type something less than 5, so since its minimum value is 5, if we type 2 and submit it, this again says value must be greater than or equal to 5. So you understood, this is the HTML5 way, whereas this is more like the traditional way of using any condition or supplying any like a throw or catch kind of exception handling. Now there can be final statement as well, but let me show you. Evaluation error indicates an error in the evaluation function. Range error, reference error. Okay, this we can skip. This is also fine. Okay, now what we want is, let's come to the exercise part. What we want is, we want to create a very simple form, and as I repeated earlier as well, I talked about it. Let's not create HTML5. I know this is very simple and straightforward in HTML5. Let's do the traditional way. There should be first name, then there should be last name, there should be email, then there should be password. It should be secret type, it should not be text type. So when you specify any input type as secret, it will not show you any password value when someone is typing it. And then there should be a submit button. This should be all alphabets, and then we can have one mobile number too. Then we can have a mobile, all numeric. There should be email type format. This should be required. All field actually should be required. This should be required, this should be required, this should be required, and this should be required. What you need to do, you need to do a couple of things. One is this validation. Another one is, as soon as you move out from this, it should be in uppercase. Rest can be as it is. So you understand the format, what you need to do. So
sir, I didn't get the last part, sir. After moving out, what should we do?
So as soon as we move out from first name, this should be in uppercase if we are providing any value. Okay, so let's verify all of this. Let's remove car, and it is not working for your last name actually. Last name, if you look at, this is not going to be uppercase. Do you want to share your code as well? Omkar, we cannot see your code. We can just show your Chrome. So maybe for others' benefit, just take them through the code too. No, I cannot hear you. This.
Sorry. Yeah, now it's so cool.
No, actually, yeah. So this should not be on the submit. Actually, this should be as soon as when you are moving from the first name. So this uppercase.
So by mouse only.
Yeah, not mouse. Actually, as soon as you are going out from that field, it should be converted to the uppercase. but that's fine. Like you can just change the location to a different event. You should be able to achieve. What message it is showing if you are not providing mobile number?
So for any empty parameters, it is showing empty params. And if the mobile number has any letter or anything else, so it is showing, and it is greater than 10 digits or less than 10 digits, then it is showing no digits.
So you applied regular expression on this one as well?
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is for alphabetical characters and for numbers.
Right. And where is the email? Have you supplied regular expression for the email as well?
For email, I did supply regular.
Okay, so for idly this is also available. You just need to create that is email function, and then you can pass the regular expression. So it takes about all the required validation, so you can find it on the internet very easily. But I think it's pretty much fine that you understand the logic and how to do it for a couple of fields, and you should be able to do for rest of them as well. So for those who are still in a process, they can look at this window. What Omkar has done, he has created functions just to validate, and these functions can be bounded with your submit button. And I'm assuming on submit he's calling this my function, and where he's doing a couple of things. One is taking the names, email name, everything out of it, then checking with first name, last name, if they are empty or not. So for empty, this is one way to do it. So what we have here, we have first name, last name, email, mobile, and password, where we are checking for whether it is blank or not. And then so for this blank related thing, we have is empty function as well, which we can use. And then we have alpha is number, and then finally we are checking what is the length of email. So for this also you could actually use this regex function, but that's completely fine. Now once this is done, you are actually going through it. But what if fails? So for fail, did you throw any error? Okay.
So for fail only, I'm printing it for fail. So if this alpha is equal to false, so if it is not alphabetical or if it is not number, then it's throwing the error there. Otherwise, it's return true there.
But there is slightly one correction that I want to make in your approach here, that irrespective if it is an error, your submit button will be clicked and it will be submitted, right? So you want to control it. So that's where after you finding any error, you would want to say the form is invalid, and then you can highlight all the errors in one go. So usually that is the process, but that's fine. Like you collected this information and you are presenting it, so you could do that way as well. So that's completely fine. Okay,